What's going on, everybody? Reggie Everett's the Front Row Report. I am joined today by Spider from Powerman 5000. Man, it's a great honor and very exciting to have you on the phone with me today, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, man. Looking forward to it.
It's an exciting week, man. We got the new record coming out, Builders of the Future, out tomorrow, man. It's an exciting time for Powerman, man. How are you feeling?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, it's always really exciting when a record's coming out, you know, because you work so hard on it, and you're sort of, we've probably been working on this thing for a year, on and off, and, when you're making a record and writing it, it's just you and your band and a few other people that are hearing it, so you're sort of in a bubble, and then finally, on release day, other people get to hear it, and the great thing about the internet now is, like, you get immediate feedback, whereas before, you didn't really know what people thought about it until, we went on tour, or you saw a review in a magazine a month later, but now it's like, people just start talking about it right away, so it's nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time, for sure.
Yeah, the internet really has changed the game a lot as far as music goes. I mean, like you said, back in the day, God knows how long you would have to wait sometimes to hear what fans thought, and now it's almost like the minute you release it, that day, usually, if fans like it, how well it might do. So it's got to be, especially for you guys, your career has spanned from back then up until now. You've really seen how things have changed. But this record, Builders of the Future, man, I've listened to it a couple times, and I gotta tell you, it's definitely Powerman 5000 in every way imaginable, I think. Definitely something for the band.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think you're right. I think that we've, it's so funny. Like you said, we've been a band for so long, and there are times I feel like I'm just now figuring out how to do it the right way. And we've developed a particular sound over the years, and we've experimented with that sound. But I think we've really grown to a point where we're really comfortable in our own skin, so to speak. When we had success with, the biggest success was with Tonight Distortion Bolt, and we sort of, put that sort of electronic mixed with metal, and sort of the science fiction vibe, and, we've strayed from that a bit over the years and tried some different things, but we've sort of come back home over the last couple of records to that sound, and really just, am comfortable claiming that as our own, and now it's just about doing it just, better each time, and, making sure that we're writing the best songs possible and putting the best performances down. And, this record is really, I think it just feels really special. Every record you approach with the same energy, the same intent to make the best thing you can. But there are definitely certain records you feel something about, and this is, something extra, and this definitely has that feeling.
Yeah, there's not a lot of soft spots in the record. It's a full-on, balls-to-the-wall, heavy, hard-hitting record. There's one ballad. Really, I don't even know if ballad is the right word. There's one softer track in the entire record. But, the lyrical content is very heavy. I Want to Kill You. It's a pretty straightforward song. And, even that captures everything the band is about. So, there's not one moment on this record that fans are going to skip through or be like, yeah, what are we listening to? It really captures the band.
Well, that is the intent, I always like, I was always a fan of records that you wanted to listen to twice in a row and not shut off, at track number 16 or something. So, records tend to be really, like, we self-edit a lot along the way, and if a song is even remotely feels like on the fence with us, we don't put it on the record. I'd rather have 10, really strong songs than, 10 strong songs and 3, top filler, so we definitely make every effort to make sure the record is like, kind of like the live show. You go out there and you want people wanting more. You want to end the set and have them go like, "Holy crap! Like that was amazing!" And how did that go? How did that go by so fast? Instead of leaving for the exits halfway through. So, but you mentioned that song, "I Want to Kill You." Yeah, it's right. That is like the sort of the left turn on the record for sure. We really took a chance with that song. Sonically, it is sort of the lightest song, but probably content-wise, it's the heaviest. So, it's a pretty dark song for sure.
Right. And Powerman, you guys have always used, like you said, you strayed away from it, but Powerman you guys have always used a lot of electronic elements, and nowadays, electronic has really kind of made a home in metal, as compared more so than in previous years. It's really made a lot of bands are using a lot more electronic elements in metal now than they used to. Being a band who's always kind of used that, is it kind of cool to see more bands using the electronics in metal, and how does it make you feel when a lot of bands are going down that road now?
Yeah, I mean, someone asked me today about, how do you feel like you fare today as opposed to the 90s? Like, I almost feel like the sound we make now is more relevant than it was back then. Back then we were one of a handful of people doing it.
Yeah.
And now, not only in metal, but in all kinds of music. And I hear stuff on Top 40 that if you added guitars to it, it would sound like a Powerman track. It's like very much, I'm not saying we take credit for that, but I'm just saying the sensibility of music is definitely leaning very much towards that electronic, almost danceable. That's another thing with our records. If you stripped away the guitars, you'd have a pretty kick-ass dance record. Because it's very much four-on-the-floor beats and cool synthesizer sounds underneath. And I just like that sound. I think it's a fresh sound. I love rock music, but I also love rap and electronic music. So I think combining those worlds really can create a really powerful sound.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day as well, and it's not that you guys were really ahead of your time back in the day, but you really fit in really well right now with the way things are going, because electronic is really a strong feature in metal and just in music in general, like you said. So it's going to be really interesting to see how well the record does, with this also being kind of a little bit of a comeback for Powerman 5000. It's the first record in almost 5 years. So it's gonna be really cool to see how everything happens from here on out. But it being the first record in almost 5 years, how long? I'd assume maybe a couple of the songs have been written for a while, and this is the first that we're really hearing them. How did the record really come about over the course of the last few years?
Yeah, it was some of the songs are in particular, the first single, How to Be a Human, it's been around for a while. We've been playing that on the road for probably a year, and we were getting such a great response for it. It was a good indicator of which direction to go, in the record, with the record. And we wrote a whole bunch of songs really fast, and then probably only held on to a few of them. And it was a weird, it was weird. It was like we sort of did a bunch of stuff and edited those out and went back on the road and came back. And interestingly enough, like a lot of a bulk of the record was written at the very tail end. Like I Want to Kill You and Builders of the Future and Live It Up Before You're Dead. Those were songs that were just like, almost like last minute things. I kept thinking, we need more, and so it was almost like it took a really long time to develop the record, but at the very end, it just like sort of kicked into high gear, and and we came up with some of the best material right at the tail end of the process. So we don't really make records in the old school traditional sense where you get in a room, you jam for 6 months, and then you go in for 2 weeks and record the record. We just sort of write and produce and record all at the same time. So it tends to it doesn't rely on a schedule. It just sort of happens when it happens.
Awesome. It turned out really well on this one. I'd almost go as far as say this is one of the strongest records of your career. It's definitely fans are going to freak when they hear it.
I hope so. I hope everybody feels that way. I appreciate that. I think with the last record, Somewhere on the Other Side of Nowhere, we sort of got back on track.
Yeah.
And that was like my favorite record that we'd ever made up to that point. I think that we just sort of started where that one left off and took it to a different level on this one.
Awesome. Now, speaking of being on the road, it was just announced the co-headliner with the Hedpe. You guys are going on the road for a co-headlining tour. A couple months, actually, I think. And you're hitting Kokomo, Indiana, because I'm in Indianapolis, and you're hitting Kokomo on August 8th with those guys. And that's a great tour package, I think. Both bands have a lot of intensity, a lot of high energy. It's going to be a fun tour as well, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good mix. I mean, we played shows with those guys over the years, radio festivals, but we never have ever done a proper tour with them. I think they're probably one of the few bands from that era that we didn't tour with. So it's going to be interesting to see, how it goes and how their crowd mixes with ours. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover, but I think people appreciate package tours when they can see two bands that they like on the same stage, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of bands are doing that now with the package tours, especially now with the internet and everything. With the majority of the money is coming from touring and income is coming from touring. Do you think it's more important now than it was before to do a package tour and put two great bands co-headlining with some good, decent supporting acts? Do you think it's more important now than it was then?
I think it's always been a good idea, and I think now it's just like it's become harder and harder to get people to go to shows, and there's so many more distractions in life, and I think you've got to just start offering more, and we'll go on the road and headline, and we'll go to a venue and we'll look at the calendar like. It's like the week before us was Hell Yeah, Static X, Dope, and the week after us is Lacuna Coil, blah, 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 and the list goes on. And there's so many bands out there that there's only so many dollars to go around. Right. And, a kid who, maybe 5 of his favorite bands are coming to town, and he only has money for one ticket, you've got to make that choice. So I think if you can offer a really strong package, you definitely have a better shot at getting them to pick your show, for sure.
Yeah, and another great way is a lot of the festivals, because there's more festivals now. I mean, it's crazy, especially this time of year. And you guys just a couple weeks ago played a festival out where I'm from in Iowa. You guys played Laserfest, one of my all-time favorite festivals to do. And so, I mean, there's a lot of different ways for people to get out and see the bands they love, and for bands to tour and play. And I think that the touring scene has become heavier now than it ever has been.
Yeah, for sure. And festivals are definitely a big part of everybody. We all want to get on those festivals, and
right.
It's definitely part of it.
Right. So we got the release tomorrow, and then we got the tour coming up during the summer. So what are we looking at between the record release and the Hedpe Powerman 5000 co-headliner? What's 2014 really look like for Powerman? Lots of touring, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, after this, we're going to Europe in June. We're going to do all the giant festivals there. And then once we get done with that, we come back and have a little break, and then we head out with Hedpe for that August run. And then after that, we have nothing planned, but I'm sure there'll be lots of cool stuff happening for sure.
Awesome, absolutely. There has to be with how solid this record is. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be an exciting time for Powerman 5000. I can't wait to see you guys when you hit Kokomo on August 8th, man. We'll see you there, and thank you so much for taking time today.
Thanks, man.
Have a great Memorial Day, man.
Good talking.
All right, see you.